In a distant future, Earth had become a thriving hub of peace, marked by technological advancements and cultural unity. Cities buzzed with life, filled with towering skyscrapers and bustling markets, showcasing humanity's progress. The world had united after centuries of conflict, focusing on innovation and sustainability. Scientists had unlocked the secrets of clean energy, enabling humans to colonize the moon and establish research stations on Mars. Despite the achievements, humanity remained vigilant, aware that their advancements could attract attention from those who sought dominance. As Earth basked in its newfound prosperity, it unwittingly caught the eye of the Xylar, an aggressive alien race known for their ruthlessness and technological superiority. The Xylar had conquered numerous planets, subjugating their inhabitants and stripping them of resources. To them, the sight of Earth, a planet flourishing in harmony, was a challenge, a display of weakness that could not go unanswered. Driven by their belief in superiority, they dispatched a massive fleet to Earth, prepared to enforce their will. The Xylar's ships descended from the sky, darkening the sun and casting ominous shadows over major cities. Humanity watched in horror as the invasion began. Communications crackled with urgent updates, panic spreading like wildfire. Major cities went into lockdown as people sought shelter, but the Xylar were not here for a friendly visit. They issued an ultimatum: Earth must submit or face annihilation. The world held its breath, caught in a collective fear that rippled through every nation. World leaders convened in an emergency summit, their faces pale with dread. The room was filled with tension as they faced the reality of the situation. Some leaders advocated for immediate surrender, believing it was the only way to protect their citizens. Others argued passionately for resistance, invoking humanity's history of overcoming insurmountable odds. As debates raged, a young, determined leader stood up, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We cannot allow ourselves to be subjugated," she declared, her conviction echoing in the hearts of those present. "If we submit now, we doom ourselves and generations to come." Inspired by her words, a shift occurred. One by one, leaders joined her in the call for defiance. They recalled humanity's history of resilience, the revolutions, the wars, the battles fought against overwhelming odds. The leaders began to formulate a plan, rallying their nations to unite against the Xylar threat. It was a defining moment, marking the beginning of a global coalition formed not out of fear but a shared determination to protect their home. As humanity prepared for war, a wave of defiance surged through the population. Citizens began organizing, offering their skills and resources. Engineers and scientists collaborated, sharing knowledge to develop strategies that would level the playing field. Military forces from various countries joined forces, pooling their assets to create a formidable defense. This alliance was built on the foundation of trust and unity, transcending national borders in a way humanity had never seen before. The Xylar, on the other hand, watched from their ships, underestimating the resolve of humanity. They believed their advanced technology and military prowess would easily crush the Earth's defenses. However, what they failed to recognize was the unyielding spirit of humanity when backed into a corner. As news of the coalition spread, morale soared. Social media exploded with messages of hope, solidarity, and determination. Hashtags like #DefendEarth and #WeWillNotSubmit began trending worldwide, galvanizing citizens to take up arms, whether as soldiers, engineers, or medics. The first encounters with the Xylar forces were brutal. The aliens unleashed their advanced weaponry, showcasing the devastating power of their fleets. Human soldiers, poorly equipped compared to their alien counterparts, faced overwhelming odds. Cities fell one by one, but the tales of heroism began to emerge, creating a ripple effect throughout the coalition. Stories circulated of ordinary people rising to the occasion, civilians transforming into fighters, engineers rigging up makeshift weapons, and strategists concocting clever plans. In one small town, a group of engineers used their knowledge to create traps and defensive measures, slowing down the Xylar advance. They managed to hold their ground long enough for reinforcements to arrive, allowing humanity to reclaim their city, albeit temporarily. These victories, small yet significant, inspired hope and fueled the fire within the coalition. Each story of defiance served as a rallying cry, proving that humanity would not go down without a fight. As the battles raged on, the world watched in awe of humanity's spirit. The news media broadcast images of courageous acts, and the morale among defenders surged. It became clear that humanity was not merely defending its planet. They were fighting for their very identity. They were fighting to prove that they were worthy of their place in the universe, capable of standing against oppression and tyranny. Amidst the chaos, scientists were hard at work, developing innovative strategies and technologies. They sought to level the playing field, understanding that brute force alone would not suffice against the Xylers' might. Human ingenuity became the key to their survival, inspiring a renewed sense of hope. Inventors and thinkers united, pouring their expertise into creating weapons and defenses that would counteract the alien technology. The world had changed drastically, transforming fear into resolve. The humanity that once bowed in submission began to rise, united under a single banner of resistance. The Xyler may have underestimated humanity's will to fight, but the true strength of the human spirit was about to be unleashed. As plans took shape and alliances solidified, Earth prepared to defy the impossible, ready to confront the invading force head-on. In the heart of each coalition member beat the same conviction: they would not let their story end in subjugation. They would fight for their future, for their freedom, and for the right to exist as they were, free and unyielding. And thus, with determination burning in their hearts, humanity set the stage for the battle to come, ready to face the Xyler and reclaim their home. As the global coalition formed in response to the Xyler threat, a sense of urgency filled the air. Nations that had once been divided by politics and ideology now stood together, united by a common goal: to defend their planet. The initial shock of the invasion sparked a wave of creativity and collaboration among scientists, engineers, and military leaders. They understood that traditional warfare tactics would not suffice against a technologically superior enemy. Every nation contributed its strengths, pooling resources and knowledge to develop innovative strategies. The alliance quickly established command centers across the globe, where military leaders collaborated with scientists to devise a comprehensive defense plan. They focused on guerrilla tactics, leveraging the element of surprise and their intimate knowledge of Earth's terrain. Small, agile teams were formed, consisting of the best soldiers, engineers, and tacticians. Their mission was to disrupt the Xyler supply lines and communication networks while gathering intelligence on alien technology. One of the first successful operations came from a daring raid on an alien outpost situated in a remote area. A small team of soldiers, aided by local resistance fighters, infiltrated the compound under the cover of night. Their objective was to sabotage the Xyler's communication systems, thereby crippling their ability to coordinate attacks. As they moved stealthily through the shadows, adrenaline coursed through their veins. They worked quickly, planting explosives at key locations. When the charges detonated, the chaos created an opportunity for the human forces to escape unscathed. This success was a beacon of hope, showing that humanity could strike back. Encouraged by this victory, more nations joined the coalition, contributing soldiers and resources. Engineers from around the world collaborated to design improvised weaponry, blending advanced technology with creative ingenuity. They utilized repurposed materials to create traps and defense mechanisms, transforming civilian spaces into fortified strongholds. Community centers became hubs of resistance, where citizens gathered to train and prepare for battle. This grassroots movement showcased the unwavering spirit of humanity, where even those without military training became vital contributors to the fight. As the battles raged, morale fluctuated. Initial victories fueled optimism, but the harsh realities of war weighed heavily on the coalition. Casualties began to mount, and the media broadcast images of destruction and loss. Yet, amidst the grief, stories of heroism emerged that inspired resilience. Ordinary people performed extraordinary feats, risking their lives to protect their neighbors and loved ones. The spirit of resistance resonated deeply, uniting humanity in its darkest moments. In one memorable incident, a group of civilians banded together to defend their town from an advancing Xyler battalion. Armed with makeshift weapons, they created barricades and organized a defensive line. As the aliens approached, the townspeople stood their ground, determined to protect their home. The battle was fierce, but their courage in the face of overwhelming odds turned the tide. News of their bravery spread like wildfire, igniting hope across the globe. It became a rallying cry for others to join the fight, proving that humanity's will was unbreakable. Recognizing the importance of these victories, the coalition began to implement a strategy of psychological warfare. They circulated stories of resistance, showcasing humanity's resilience through social media and broadcast channels. By highlighting acts of bravery, they aimed to demoralize the Xylar forces and rally support for the human cause. The message was clear: humanity would not bow to oppression, they would fight for their freedom. Amidst these efforts, scientists were also hard at work, racing against time to develop countermeasures to the Xylar technology. A team of brilliant minds from various fields pooled their knowledge to create devices capable of disrupting the aliens' advanced communication systems. This technology became the Coalition's secret weapon, an invaluable tool that could potentially turn the tide of the war. The stakes were high, but the collaborative spirit ignited innovation at an unprecedented rate. As the war escalated, the Xylar unleashed their full might, launching coordinated attacks on key cities. Despite the overwhelming force, humanity's resolve only strengthened. Communities banded together, fortifying their defenses and preparing for the inevitable onslaught. Every successful defense boosted morale and demonstrated that unity could withstand even the fiercest of foes. Citizens transformed into fighters, using their knowledge of the land to outmaneuver their enemies. The coalition leaders began to coordinate larger offensives, targeting critical Xylar installations. Each mission required careful planning and execution, as they faced the risk of heavy casualties. However, the success of previous operations fueled confidence, leading to bold strategies that caught the Xylar off guard. With each passing day, the tide of war began to shift, revealing humanity's adaptability and determination. As news of the coalition's successes spread, the Xylar began to underestimate their opponents. They had anticipated an easy conquest, believing that their technology and military strength would crush human resistance. Instead, they faced an adversary that fought with unmatched tenacity. The Alliance's unity and resilience became a powerful weapon in itself, instilling fear among the ranks of the Xylar. With the war escalating, the coalition prepared for a decisive confrontation. The leaders recognized that the time had come to take the fight to the Xylar, to show them the true strength of humanity. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as soldiers trained rigorously, engineers completed final adjustments on their new weapons, and civilians continued to support the cause in any way they could. The world held its breath, ready to witness the next chapter in humanity's struggle against the invaders. As the coalition forged ahead, the belief that they could win against all odds became a powerful motivator. Each victory, no matter how small, reminded them of what they were fighting for: freedom, unity, and the future of their planet. Humanity was ready to face the Xylar and demonstrate that their spirit could not be extinguished. They would fight not just for survival, but for the right to exist as free beings in a universe that had once seemed indifferent to their plight. As the war escalated, the Xylar launched their main offensive, targeting key urban centers across the globe. With their overwhelming technological superiority, they struck swiftly and mercilessly, aiming to demoralize the human resistance. Cities that had once thrived with life were turned into battlegrounds, crumbling under the weight of relentless attacks. The coalition's leadership faced a critical moment. They needed to act decisively to counter this onslaught. In response, a series of emergency meetings convened to reassess their strategies. Tensions ran high as military leaders discussed the grim realities of the situation. Casualties had risen significantly, and morale among the troops began to waver. It became evident that traditional tactics would not suffice against an enemy that outmatched them in technology. The coalition needed a game-changer, a strategy that could shift the balance of power back in their favor. Meanwhile, the team of scientists dedicated to developing new technology worked tirelessly in secret. They had been focused on a disruptive device that could interfere with the Xylar's advanced communication systems, rendering their coordinated attacks ineffective. Days turned into nights as they tested prototypes, driven by the urgency of their mission. Finally, after numerous trials and failures, they achieved a breakthrough, a device capable of jamming the Xylers' communications across a wide radius. With the new technology ready for deployment, the Coalition organized a large-scale operation aimed at a critical Xyler command center. The mission required careful planning, as the Xyler would not be caught off guard easily. Military leaders coordinated their forces, combining air support with ground troops, while engineers prepared to deploy the disruptive technology at the heart of the Xyler base. The goal was to sever the alien command's ability to communicate and coordinate, creating chaos within their ranks. As the operation commenced, troops moved with precision and purpose. The atmosphere was thick with tension, yet the resolve to succeed was palpable. Each soldier understood the stakes. They were fighting not just for their survival but for the future of humanity. The Coalition forces approached the command center under the cover of darkness, their hearts pounding as they prepared to execute the plan. When the time came, the troops advanced, using stealth to avoid detection. The jamming device was deployed at the designated location, and within moments, the Xyler's communication network began to crumble. Confusion spread through the alien ranks as they struggled to maintain order amidst the chaos. Sensing an opportunity, the Coalition forces launched their attack, catching the Xyler off guard. The battle erupted with fierce intensity. Explosions lit up the night sky as Coalition forces engaged the Xyler in close combat. The disruption of communication left the aliens disorganized, unable to respond effectively to the human assault. Soldiers fought valiantly, displaying extraordinary bravery as they pushed deeper into the command center. With each victory, hope surged among the troops, bolstering their determination to reclaim their planet. As the fighting raged on, the Coalition began to systematically dismantle the Xyler's command operations. The human forces capitalized on the chaos, targeting supply lines and weapon caches, effectively crippling the aliens' ability to wage war. The tide of battle began to shift dramatically, and reports of success streamed back to the Coalition's command centers. News of their triumph resonated globally, igniting a renewed sense of purpose and pride among those who had been holding the line. The operation culminated in a fierce confrontation at the heart of the command center. The Coalition forces breached the final defenses and encountered the Xyler elite guards. A fierce battle ensued, showcasing humanity's determination to win against all odds. In a moment of clarity, a young soldier, fueled by adrenaline and the desire to protect his comrades, led a charge that turned the tide of the skirmish. His bravery inspired those around him, and together they overcame the alien guards, securing the command center. With the facility under their control, the Coalition seized valuable intelligence that would prove critical for future operations. Data recovered from the Xyler systems provided insights into their strategies, weaknesses, and vulnerabilities. This newfound knowledge sparked excitement among the military leaders, who realized they could use it to their advantage in upcoming battles. The mission had not only succeeded but had become a pivotal moment in the war, showcasing humanity's ability to adapt and innovate in the face of adversity. The victory galvanized the Coalition, igniting a surge of enthusiasm and determination across the globe. Stories of the mission spread like wildfire, inspiring civilians and soldiers alike. Social media was flooded with accounts of bravery and ingenuity, turning everyday individuals into symbols of hope. The narrative shifted from one of despair to one of resilience, demonstrating that humanity could indeed fight back against their oppressors. As the Coalition prepared for the next phase of the conflict, leaders recognized the importance of capitalizing on their momentum. They planned coordinated offensives against key Xyler installations, aiming to disrupt their operations further and reclaim territory. The atmosphere was charged with excitement, and the belief that victory was within reach became a driving force for the Coalition. In the weeks that followed, the Coalition launched a series of coordinated strikes against the Xyler. Utilizing the intelligence gathered from the previous operation, they targeted weak points in the alien defenses. Each successful engagement built on the last, creating a domino effect that weakened the Xyler's grip on Earth. The once dominant alien forces began to falter, struggling to maintain control over the territories they had captured. As the war progressed, the resilience and determination of humanity became a defining trait. They fought not just for survival but for their right to exist as free beings. Each victory reinforced their identity, showcasing the indomitable spirit that had united them against a common enemy. The coalition thrived on the belief that they could reclaim their planet, and they were determined to prove it. In the face of overwhelming odds, humanity had shown that they were far more than mere subjects to be conquered. They had transformed from a disparate collection of nations into a unified force, driven by a shared purpose. With each battle won, the narrative shifted, turning the tide against the Xyler and paving the way for a brighter future. As the coalition prepared for the final confrontation, the world held its breath, ready to witness the culmination of their struggle. United and unyielding, humanity stood on the precipice of victory, determined to reclaim their home and redefine their place in the universe. The battle for Earth was far from over, but the spirit of humanity burned brighter than ever, lighting the way forward. As the tide of battle began to shift in humanity's favor, the coalition leadership recognized a crucial opportunity. Capturing the Xyler King could deal a devastating blow to their enemies' morale and command structure. The Xyler had long believed in their superiority, and the king's presence was a constant reminder of their power. The coalition devised a daring plan to infiltrate the flagship of the Xyler fleet, where the king was believed to be stationed. The objective was clear: capture the king and bring him back as a symbol of humanity's resistance. The planning for the mission was meticulous. Military strategists and intelligence operatives gathered to analyze the layout of the flagship, using the intelligence gleaned from previous operations. They identified potential entry points, security measures, and key personnel that would need to be neutralized. Time was of the essence, and every detail mattered. Tension filled the air as operatives prepared themselves for the risks ahead. The coalition assembled a specialized task force consisting of elite soldiers, tech experts, and seasoned strategists. Each member understood the gravity of the mission. Failure was not an option. They trained relentlessly, simulating scenarios and refining their tactics. The soldiers developed a bond, united by a common goal that transcended their individual backgrounds. This was not just about capturing an alien king, it was about sending a message to the Xyler and the world that humanity would no longer be subjugated. As the day of the operation arrived, the task force prepared for deployment. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation and resolve. They donned their gear, double-checking equipment and weapons, while the weight of their mission hung heavy in the air. With each passing moment, adrenaline surged through their veins, igniting a fierce determination to succeed. They would not just infiltrate the enemy's flagship, they would bring back a trophy of victory. Under the cover of darkness, the task force embarked on their mission. Using stealth technology and advanced tactics, they maneuvered their way to the flagship, evading patrols and security measures. The teamwork displayed was exceptional. Each member relied on the other's skills, communicating seamlessly through headsets. They breached the exterior of the ship and moved through the corridors, navigating the alien structure with precision and focus. As they approached the inner sanctum where the king was believed to be located, tension escalated. The guards were formidable, but the coalition forces had a plan. Utilizing their disruptive technology, they managed to incapacitate the security systems, allowing them to advance undetected. The task force's heart raced as they entered the throne room, the epicenter of the Xyler's command. There, surrounded by a retinue of elite guards, sat the Xyler King, a towering figure exuding an aura of authority. The moment was surreal. The embodiment of their enemy was within reach. The task force executed their plan flawlessly. A well-coordinated assault overwhelmed the guards, who were caught off guard by the ferocity and determination of the human fighters. The clash was fierce, but the coalition forces fought with a relentless resolve fueled by their desire for freedom. After a grueling battle, the task force succeeded in subduing the guards. They surrounded the king, who, despite his size and reputation, was visibly taken aback by the audacity of the human assault. The coalition operatives restrained him, ensuring that he could not escape or call for reinforcements. In that moment, the unthinkable had become reality. Humanity had captured the Xyler King. With their mission accomplished, the task force began the journey back to Earth, transporting the king as a prisoner. The atmosphere aboard the ship was electric, filled with a mix of disbelief and triumph. This was not just a personal victory, it was a collective achievement that would reverberate through the ranks of both the Coalition and the Xylar. The King's capture was destined to become a symbol of humanity's resistance and resilience. As the task force returned to Earth, the news of their success spread rapidly. The Coalition leadership recognized the importance of leveraging this victory to inspire hope and galvanize support. Plans were made for a public display of the captured king, designed to showcase humanity's defiance against oppression. The streets filled with anticipation, and citizens from all walks of life prepared to witness history. On the day of the king's public display, the atmosphere was charged with excitement. Thousands gathered in the main square, eager to see the symbol of their victory. The Coalition leaders took to the stage, addressing the crowd with fervor. They emphasized the significance of the king's capture, framing it as a turning point in the war, a testament to humanity's strength and unity. When the moment arrived, the king was paraded through the streets, restrained and escorted by soldiers. The sight of the once mighty ruler, now a prisoner of the very species he sought to subjugate, sent shockwaves through the gathered crowd. Cheers erupted, echoing across the square as people celebrated their triumph. This was not just about a king, it was a powerful message to the Xylar and the universe that humanity would no longer cower in the shadows. The impact of the display resonated far beyond the square. News of the event spread like wildfire, reaching Xylar ranks and igniting doubts among their soldiers. They began to question the legitimacy of their leadership and the narrative of their superiority. The king's capture had not only demoralized their forces but had also sparked a wave of dissent among the Xylar populace, who were increasingly disillusioned by their leader's oppressive regime. The Coalition's leaders seized this moment to reinforce their message of resistance, urging citizens to remain vigilant and united. They emphasized that the war was far from over and that their fight for freedom continued. Each rallying cry served to strengthen the resolve of humanity, reinforcing their identity as a united force against oppression. In the days that followed, the Coalition worked tirelessly to exploit the disarray within the Xylar ranks. Intelligence gathered from the captured king provided invaluable insights into alien strategies and vulnerabilities. The Coalition launched coordinated strikes against key installations, capitalizing on the confusion and dissent among the Xylar soldiers. As humanity continued to press forward, the king's capture became a symbol of their struggle, a reminder of their collective strength and the price they were willing to pay for freedom. The world watched as the Coalition transformed from a disparate group of nations into a formidable alliance, united in their determination to reclaim their planet. With every victory, humanity forged a new identity, one rooted in resilience and defiance. They were no longer passive subjects waiting for liberation. They were warriors fighting for their existence. The Xylar may have come to Earth believing they would easily conquer, but they had awakened a force that would not be extinguished. As the Coalition prepared for the next phase of the conflict, they stood united, ready to face the challenges ahead, determined to reclaim their home once and for all. As humanity rallied around the captured Xylar king, the atmosphere of defiance and hope permeated throughout the Coalition. The king's public display had become a catalyst, uniting people across the globe in a shared purpose. The realization that they had managed to capture one of the most powerful figures in the Xylar hierarchy instilled a newfound confidence among soldiers and civilians alike. They were no longer just fighting for survival. They were actively reclaiming their planet and redefining their identity. The Coalition leadership understood the importance of maintaining momentum. They organized strategic meetings to discuss the next steps in the campaign against the Xylar. Intelligence gathered from the king provided valuable insights into the alien command structure and weaknesses within their ranks. This knowledge would be pivotal in planning coordinated offensives that could exploit the chaos and uncertainty among the Xylar forces. Meanwhile, the Xylar were reeling from the psychological impact of the king's capture. Reports of dissent began to surface within their ranks, as soldiers started questioning the motives of their leaders. The Coalition seized upon this moment of vulnerability, launching targeted propaganda campaigns aimed at further sowing doubt and discord among the alien forces. Leaflets were distributed, and broadcasts showcased the humanity's resilience emphasizing that their fight was not just for survival but for the principles of freedom and self-determination. With the king held captive, the coalition planned a series of assaults on critical Xylar installations. The objective was clear: disrupt their supply lines, command centers, and communication hubs. This would not only weaken the Xylar's operational capabilities but also demonstrate to the world that humanity was no longer a passive victim of invasion. They were active combatants, fully capable of fighting back and reclaiming their sovereignty. The first major offensive targeted a heavily fortified supply depot located on the outskirts of a major city. The coalition coordinated a multi-pronged attack, utilizing both air and ground forces to maximize their impact. Troops moved with precision, executing their plan flawlessly. As the assault commenced, explosions rocked the depot, and chaos ensued. Coalition forces fought fiercely, determined to capture valuable resources while inflicting as much damage as possible. Throughout the battle, the spirit of defiance fueled the soldiers' resolve. Each member of the coalition understood the stakes. They were not just fighting for territory, they were fighting for their future. The images of their fallen comrades motivated them to push forward, transforming grief into a driving force. With every inch gained, humanity asserted its will against the oppressive force that sought to dominate them. As the battle raged, reports of success began to flow back to the coalition command. The depot was captured, and critical supplies were secured. This victory was not just strategic, it was symbolic. It showcased humanity's ability to reclaim what had been taken from them and to fight back against an enemy that had underestimated their strength. In the aftermath of the battle, the coalition took swift action to fortify their newly acquired position. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock to set up defenses and prepare for potential counterattacks. The atmosphere was electric with excitement and determination. Humanity had tasted victory, and they were hungry for more. As the weeks progressed, the coalition launched a series of coordinated strikes against key Xylar targets. Each operation built upon the last, creating a momentum that the Xylar struggled to counter. The once formidable alien forces began to falter under the relentless pressure of the coalition. Reports of dissent continued to rise among the Xylar soldiers, further weakening their resolve. In the midst of this turmoil, the coalition leadership decided to orchestrate a final, decisive confrontation with the Xylar. They planned a large-scale assault aimed directly at the heart of the Xylar command, an operation that would either solidify their victory or lead to devastating consequences. The stakes were higher than ever, but the determination to reclaim their home fueled their preparations. As the coalition gathered their forces for the final assault, the world watched with bated breath. Citizens rallied in support, organizing events to boost morale and show solidarity with their troops. The streets filled with messages of hope, banners displaying slogans like, "We will not be subjugated," and "Together we rise." The spirit of unity among humanity had never been stronger. On the day of the assault, soldiers moved into position, their hearts filled with a mix of anxiety and determination. The atmosphere was tense as they prepared to face the Xylar in what could be the decisive battle of the war. The coalition had learned from their past encounters, adjusting their strategies and tactics to exploit the weaknesses they had identified in the Xylar forces. As the operation commenced, the coalition forces launched their assault with a ferocity that stunned the Xylar. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering casualties, but humanity fought with a resilience that had been forged through struggle. The spirit of their fallen comrades inspired them to push forward, refusing to back down in the face of adversity. The tide of the battle turned when coalition forces breached the Xylar command center. The sight of the once imposing structure, now under siege by human soldiers, sent shockwaves through the alien ranks. Confusion and panic erupted among the Xylar as the coalition pressed their advantage, showcasing their newfound capabilities and determination. As the battle reached its climax, coalition forces fought fiercely to secure the command center. The struggle was intense, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. But in a moment of pure determination, the coalition achieved a breakthrough, capturing key personnel and resources. The victory was complete, and the Xylar forces began to retreat, their morale shattered. The aftermath of the battle marked a turning point in the war. Humanity had reclaimed its planet, and the Coalition celebrated their hard-fought victory. The captured Xylar King became a powerful symbol of their resilience, serving as a reminder that they had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. The stories of bravery and sacrifice were shared widely, inspiring future generations to remember the strength that lay within them. In the weeks that followed, the Coalition worked to establish a new order on Earth, fostering relations with other alien races that had previously stood on the sidelines. They promoted peace and cooperation, ensuring that the horrors of war would not be repeated. Humanity had emerged not just as survivors but as leaders, ready to chart a new course in the cosmos. As the dust settled, humanity reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. They had fought valiantly against an oppressive force, proving their worth and their right to exist as free beings. The victory over the Xylar marked a new chapter in human history, one defined by resilience, unity, and the unyielding spirit of a species that would not be defeated. With the experience of war behind them, humanity looked toward the future, determined to forge new paths and create a legacy of peace. They had faced adversity and emerged stronger, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The story of their struggle would live on, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring belief in freedom for all.